Thousands of years ago, the forests and plains of North and South America were hunting grounds for packs of ferocious, wolf-like canids. These strong, social predators specialized in hunting large prehistoric animals or megafauna. Using their absurdly powerful jaws, they took down bison, horses, and camels. Today, these predators are commonly known as dire wolves, one of the largest canid species ever discovered, and they were extraordinary. When it was first discovered, the dire wolf was initially classified as part of the genus Canis, which includes modern wolves, dogs, and a few other toothy friends. However, later research revealed it wasn't so closely related as we thought. Instead, dire wolves belonged to their own lineage of canids, which diverged from wolves and coyotes about 5.7 million years ago. Despite being more distantly related, dire wolves and true wolves share many physical and behavioral traits. One explanation for this is a rather intuitively named phenomenon called convergent evolution. Sometimes in nature, animals that live in the same environment and occupy similar roles follow similar evolutionary paths. Dire wolves and regular wolves coexisted in the Americas during the late Pleistocene, filling many of the same ecological niches. As a result, they naturally followed in each other's footsteps, or should I say, paw tracks. Their name is just one of many myths surrounding dire wolves. Their stature, for example, is often exaggerated to mythic proportions. Yes, they were powerful predators, but dire wolves probably were not much bigger than the largest wolves today. On average, they stood about 80 centimeters at the shoulder and measured about 1.8 meters from nose to tail. As for their weight, adult males were an estimated 60 to 70 kilograms, or roughly 130 to 150 pounds, admittedly more intimidating than your average toy poodle. These iconic American beasts were strong carnivores with robust and muscular frames. Unlike wolves today, which tend to be lankier and more agile, dire wolves were built for power and durability. They had shorter legs, broader shoulders, and larger pelvic bones relative to their body mass. With a stockier body, dire wolves could generate explosive bursts of power. They may not have been marathon runners, but dire wolves had the strength and stamina to wrestle large animals to the ground. Along with powerful limbs, scientists believe that dire wolves had one of the strongest bites of any known canid. They had robust skulls and jaws adapted for generating and withstanding extreme force. Their cranial structure was more massive compared to modern wolves, with broader cheekbones and a wider palate. As a result, their overall bite force was roughly 30% greater than a modern grey wolf. Dire wolves also had specialized teeth, which were used for gripping, crushing, and tearing their food. For example, shearing teeth in the backs of their mouths could easily slice through tough muscle as these menacing marauders ripped their prey apart. In many ways, dire wolves were built to flourish in a world populated by large and powerful prey. During the late Pleistocene, when dire wolves rose to prominence, the most dominant herbivores were giant animals like mammoths, mastodons, bison, and ground sloths. These huge hairy animals roamed across the grasslands and plains of North America, snacking on tough grasses and shrubs. Just one of these animals could feed an entire family of predators, but hunting them was a challenge, even for the strongest carnivores. Male woolly mammoths stood around 3 meters tall and weighed around 6 metric tons. They also wielded giant tusks, and their bodies were coated in thick layers of fur and subcutaneous fat. If that was not enough, mammoths usually moved in herds of many members, providing them with safety in numbers. So while dire wolves may have scavenged on dead mammoth carcasses or taken down the odd stray juvenile, it's unlikely they regularly preyed upon these behemoths. Instead, they wisely focused on other large animals, like bison, who were perfect prey. When hunting, packs of dire wolves likely used highly coordinated and cooperative strategies, roughly akin to those of modern wolves. Today, modern wolf packs average roughly 6 to 8 individuals, but this value can vary significantly. During a hunt, modern wolves leverage their numbers to scatter herds of prey animals and isolate vulnerable targets. Once their target is alone, the pack surrounds them, cutting off every escape route and leaving them with no place to run. Wolves rush at their prey from all angles, biting into their legs, bringing them down, and soon delivering the killing blow. For dire wolves, scientists have to make educated guesses. As much as you want to, no one can observe them directly. We can't know exactly how large their packs were, or strictly how they behaved. However, we can infer some things. Direwolves likely formed dynamic, advantageous social groups where they hunted, ate, and rested together. In modern wolves, this pack mentality is more than a convenient strategy, it's a way of life. Packs are governed by a primary breeding pair, with direct and extended family members filling out the pack. The primary pair decides when the pack hunts, establishes and maintains territory, and chooses locations for denning. While we can't know all the details, direwolves likely had their own pack dynamics, with hierarchies, hunting methods, breeding systems, and family subtleties. For instance, direwolves, like most canids, were probably devoted parents. Mothers would have likely given birth in dens that were hidden in thickets, burrows, and rocky caves. These little havens not only offered protection from harsh weather, but also provided a safe place for pups to feed, run, and play in their earliest months. Once they were big and strong enough to leave the den, adolescents shadowed their parents during pack activities like hunts. They likely learned by example how to trap and take down dangerous prey, eventually gaining the confidence to join the pack for their first kill. As adolescents aged into adulthood, they might have also learned how to defend themselves and the pack's territory against rival predators. Direwolves were dominant hunters during the late Pleistocene, but they were not the only predators around. In fact, direwolves shared their ecosystems with several iconic carnivores and competed with many of them for prey. Some of these competitors were other canids, like grey wolves. During the late Pleistocene, grey wolves were one of the most widespread predators in North America, living in almost every region that was not covered in ice. Today, they're known for hunting hoofed animals like elk, deer, and bison. During the late Pleistocene, their diet was likely similar, meaning that grey wolves and direwolves competed for at least some of the same prey and territory. Outside of other canids, the plains and woodlands of North and South America were also home to the many kinds of saber-toothed cats. The largest of them belonged to the extinct genus Smilodon, and, like direwolves, they specialized in hunting oversized herbivores. Direwolves and Smilodon almost certainly crossed paths, hunting in the same environments and possibly scavenging each other's kills. Evidence of this comes from fossil sites like the La Brea tar pits in the western United States, where thousands of direwolf and Smilodon fossils have been uncovered in the same natural asphalt. Saber-toothed cats were large and fearsome predators, but even they were not the biggest hunters on the prowl. The Americas were also home to Arctodus simus, more commonly known as the giant short-faced bear. It stood over 3 meters tall on its hind legs, 1.5 meters tall on all fours, and weighed around 650 kilograms. This gigantic animal was probably an omnivore and a scavenger, so it may have used its size and strength to bully direwolves away from their hard-earned carcasses. Modern species of bears and wolves have a similar relationship today. In places like Yellowstone National Park, grizzly bears frequently steal carcasses from hungry wolf packs, a phenomenon known as kleptoparasitism. While cats and bears competed with direwolves, another formidable predator was running around on 2 legs. Between 25,000 and 15,000 years ago, Homo sapiens were migrating across the Bering Land Bridge that connected Asia to North America. Compared to other predators, these early humans were somewhat lacking in size and strength, but they compensated with deadly weapons and complex hunting strategies. They used their bigger brains and greater social skills to outsmart and outmaneuver large prehistoric animals, quickly becoming some of the deadliest hunters in the world. Our ancestors were so successful that they put existential pressure on populations of common prey animals like bison and giant ground sloths. Around the world, species of megafauna were severely affected by these extremely clever apes. This put extra stress on the many predators, like direwolves, that relied on those herbivores for food. While human activities damaged populations of megafauna, climate change was another significant factor, which helped push them beyond the point of no return. Around 11,700 years ago, a warming period shrunk the world's plains and steppes, giving way to more temperate and crowded forests. In these new ecosystems, Ice Age megafauna couldn't keep up with smaller grazers and browsers, and as they died off, predators like direwolves struggled to find their niche. It is possible direwolves experimented with other hunting behaviors, perhaps shifting towards smaller prey out of desperation. Instead of bison and the western camel, they may have tried to hunt deer or ungulates, like peccaries. But these animals were not big enough to feed their packs, and were probably difficult for direwolves to chase and kill. Remember that direwolves were built to wrestle with bulky megafauna, not to pursue small and nimble prey over long distances. Other canids, like wolves and coyotes, smoothly adapted to these ecological changes, but direwolf populations took a turn for the worse. The last direwolves finally died around 9,500 years ago, marking the end of their genetic lineage. These unique predators may never walk the earth again, but they will forever be remembered as extraordinary beasts.